So tell everyone, before we get started, tell everyone, introduce yourself, tell us your name and where are you calling from?
All right, my name is Ike. I'm calling from Arlington, Texas.
Ooh, Texas.
And so yeah, I've kind of seen what you do, and I'm
Thank you.
very interested in getting my social media presence higher. And I mean, it seems like you deal with people who kind of have more followers, but I guess for office hours, I have questions on how to get to the level where your services would be more beneficial for someone like me. So to give you some background, um, I'm trying to kind of build my social media presence, but I'm not sure how to really do that.
Hmm.
I I do art, I game, I kind of have a lot of different things on my social media, but it's not really I don't know how to turn that into money. It's not
Mm.
really focused. It's just like things that I like doing. So what would you suggest to someone like me? And I can't really give you any good numbers as far as subscribers or followers, but we're talking like basically someone who's starting out.
Hmm. Such a good question, Ike, and I'm going to leave you unmuted in case there's any follow up. But such a good question because you are not alone in this area. There are so many people out there, especially as the influencer industry grows, that really want to understand like what can they like. Did they miss it? Like what can they do? How can they get into this influencer world? I would say specifically for you because you listed quite a few things that you have expertise in or a talent in, and that is great. But I think a big mistake a lot of influencers make when they first jump into the industry is that they're kind of all over the place. And so they want to just do lifestyle content or just content generally about themselves. And I would say that's fine if you have like you're just like generally very interesting. Your life is like or like just super fabulous or something like that. But overall, if it's you have to kind of take a look at yourself and just kind of be realistic and like, are you always able to provide content about like your whole entire life consistently because you really need to be consistent about it. So for you, I would focus on what you're really passionate about, what you really love doing, what you do anyway, regardless of if you're paid or not, and just go in and go hard in that direction. So maybe gaming is your thing. If you really like gaming, then just go hard in the gaming industry. See where all the gaming influencers, whatever they're, if they're called influencers in the gaming industry, see what they're doing, where they are at. Are they on Twitch? Are they on YouTube? Are they on Instagram? And go there first because that's how you can kind of engage and really get to know people. That doesn't have to be your main platform, but it is helpful. Some people want to like, it's good to kind of start out in a space that's not as popular with gamers. For instance, like influencers are not that big into Twitch, so I'm starting on Twitch. That's a good idea, but it does make it a little harder. And if you're just starting out, you need to be able to drive people there with some type of system that's already popular. So I would do that and I would be very consistent. Don't focus on making money at first. Be very consistent on creating content, make a schedule that's easier for you and get a good number of followers. For IG, since I'm very familiar with IG because that's what influencers are on, I would say like you at least need to be at like 1,000 before you start pitching brands. There are people who have landed brand deals before 1,000 followers, but like it's just hard. You're focusing so much on getting money that you're like not actually like focusing on building your audience and building your numbers and just to make your life easier in the first place. So if you get to like that 1,000 number, just a really strong number like that, I would start going for it. Start communicating with brands. And even before that, if you have a brand reach out to you, you should still try to get paid. Don't just assume like, oh, I'm small, I have to work for free or work for product. Like still at least check and see if they have a budget to be able to pay you. And so the biggest thing there, especially when you're at 1,000 followers or a smaller number like that in any platform, is that you have to pitch yourself to brands. Like you have to actually go to them. There's so many people out there and so many platforms. Like if you think of like TV platforms, like Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, there's like Peacock or whatever now that's coming out. There's so many that they have to do like commercials to remind you like, hey, I'm still there. Same thing with this industry. Like the odds of them finding you, especially with small numbers, is very difficult. So you have to make sure to put yourself in front of them, pitch to them, send them an email, DM them, engage with them on social media so that they know where you are. That is like the basics of starting out to, in this influencer industry. And as you grow, as you pitch, deals will come. Like, it's a numbers game. The more people, the more numbers you have, the more you're pitching, the more likely you are to land a brand deal. Does that answer your question, Ike?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Especially, yeah, and you seem well. You're focusing on like being consistent, which is something that I have lots of issues doing because the things that I said I like doing, I'm not that consistent enough. Like, I love doing art, but I'm definitely not consistent enough to have my social media be based on that. But so for me to stand out, well, I hear what you're saying as far as like I need to look at people who are doing very well in the fields that I want to do. But like, can I combine some things I do to stand out? Because if I'm just another gamer, I can just be someone who just plays games, but I like going to the gym. Do you think that is basically in your experience? Do you think that combining two things can kind of make you more unique, or do you feel like it should be more of a single-minded focus on what you say in order to get those followers?
I get what you're saying, and I think a lot of times, especially when people are trying to join the industry, there's a lot of people that will, say, there's so many influencers out there, especially if you have like a very general, like gaming, beauty, fashion, fitness, or something like that. The one thing, and that's not what you're saying, but the one thing I want to make sure to say about that is, if you think of, and the perfect example I like to give, if you think of a product, and specifically water. Like, water is like in your sink. You can get water for free in a lot of places from the water fountain, but people pay for water. And if you go into the store and you go into the water aisle, what do you see? You see like so many different brands of water. Some are sparkling, some are like minerals, some are, I don't know, just basic water, some are alkaline water, like everything like that. And I don't even know what some of this stuff like even means that they're putting in your water, but it's there. And so it's just the same thing. They take water and they just like make a little change to it to make themselves different, and then they like go hard in that direction. So maybe for you, and so I agree with you, like just being like general gaming or maybe playing like the most popular game, like I still think if you're very consistent in that route, you'll still probably be seen and get a lot of people to want to work with you, because you're different at the end of the day, just who you are. You're a different person. You probably play differently, and like just differences in what you do. But if you want to add something, I wouldn't just completely like do and fitness too. And so it's like a little bit of gaming, a little bit of fitness, because that gets confusing and people may not know what are they coming to you for? And it kind of gets confusing when you're creating content. And so what I would do is kind of like, if you think of like a movie or a show, like there's like the main like plot, and then maybe there's some things going on in the background too. So you can kind of do it like that. Like the main thing is gaming, but sometimes you're doing some fitness and you're showing some stuff in there. But like for the most part, they're seeing a lot more gaming of you. Or you can even just kind of go into a different niche where you're just like, because people probably assume that like a lot of gamers aren't fit or they don't want to work out, they just game every day. So maybe you're like, the fit gamer or something like that, and you like create content around that world. Like, yeah, I'm a gamer, but I also am I love going to the gym, I love working out, I love, getting muscle, blah, blah, blah. And you can go in that route too. So there's definitely different ways for you to still be unique and still be special. But I wouldn't want you to get in the mindset of like, I have to be completely new in this area, because it's just not the case in any other industry. So it's not even in the influencer industry.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, my question. I really appreciate it.
No problem. If you have any other questions, feel free to just click whatever link you clicked on. You can click it again, but I'm going to kick you out for now. Bye.
Bye.